Okay, good afternoon. My name is Nigel and I work for Hillingdon Youth Service as a youth worker. This afternoon we're going to be making what's called a suncatcher. And basically it's a few materials that we're going to need and it's being as creative as you want to be. So initially we're going to need some, I've chosen the black card, but you cut out your shape and you'll end up with something like that. And then what you want is the border, as you can see here. So what you'd need to do is cut out the border. You don't need to mark it. It's just as long as you can keep as consistent as you can going around. It's not going to be absolutely perfect. So if you get a ruler out, there could be a difference in measurement, but as I say, it's not about that. So once you've cut that out, what I'll have here is a smaller heart. There you go. So it's slightly smaller. So that's basically what you start with. So you've got some card. It won't work with paper because it won't be strong enough for that. So, and then what you're going to need is some tissue paper, or some light tissue paper. You don't want card because it needs to be transparent, as you can see. We can see the outline of the card there. So we've got various colours there, some nice bright colours, vibrant colours. It's whatever colours you like. I think the more variety, the better. We need a pair of scissors, so be very careful with those. We're going to need a little bit of sellotape. This is like double-sided clear adhesive covering. You'd use this to cover your school books, perhaps. It comes in a big roll like this. So what you can do is you can unravel it and cut it to the size that you want, so you can customize it. Some wool, and I'll explain that in a while, and a hole puncher. Right, first things first, you cut out the clear covering, the adhesive covering, so to the size, approximate size of your black border that I'm using there, and you tape it, because obviously it's going to roll up, so it's going to be quite difficult to use. So you tape it to your desk, and then what we're going to do is, what I've prepared earlier, is I've taped the four corners down so it's nice and flat. And what we're going to do is very carefully peel this back, and very carefully, this is where it becomes quite, you put a nice fold down there so it doesn't come back. In fact, put that there, and as you can see, I'm just going to place this down. If you start with one edge, so I'll start with that edge, and then you can fold it down so you don't get any air bubbles or creases. So there we go. And if you have, just push that out. That's it. So, and always remember, this is sticky. That's sticky. All right. This part here is going to be covered with the tissue paper. So basically, what you can do is start, and you don't need, you can tear the pieces of tissue paper, whatever size you want, and then you stick it in there. Doesn't matter if they're like that, because we're just going to go over it. So you can scatter them around. You can start in one corner and think to yourself, right, I'm going to start here and I'm going to work my way up, or just randomly put, as I say, I'm starting with the red tissue paper, so you can randomly stick that around like so. We'll start with some blue now, and you can, you can vary the size. They're quite, so I'm just going to put that in the middle. There's no right or wrong, it's entirely what if you want a slightly larger piece there, so put that there. Okay, it's entirely up to you. So it's all about personal choice. I wouldn't suggest putting one large piece on there. It's not very creative. But as I say, if you want to do that, go ahead and do it. So, and if you want to put smaller pieces there, so it's slightly overlapping on the pieces of tissue paper. Let's get some bright colours. I'm just looking for some, that's it, nice orange colour, nice vibrant. So we're just going to put that over there. So they're slightly overlapping, and obviously with the adhesive covering, the clear covering, they're going to stick nicely. Save using glue. You can use a PVA glue, but that wouldn't be on this particular paper. That would be using a greaseproof paper that you'd use, or parchment paper you'd be using for cooking. And then what you would do there is put the outline the shape with a pencil, and then you would actually put the adhesive glue down and then put the pieces of paper on top of the glue. And then what you would do is you would peel the paper completely off the parchment paper. So it's a slightly different method. It's slightly messier, and I thought this is a lot easier, a lot cleaner. So I think parents, guardians, carers, I think they'd probably appreciate this one a bit more. So there's no mess, there's less mess to deal with. So what we'll do, let's choose another colour. Let's get some yellow in there. And just tear that in half. And what we're going to do, so we're using some slightly bigger pieces here. It doesn't matter, and you can overlap these as I've done here. So that's overlapping. And what I'd ask you to do, if you do create any, is take photographs of them. Just send them to #YoungHillingdon, and we'd be very happy to see what you've created, and then we'll post them up on our website for you. If you have any questions, if I'm able to answer them, I will, and if I can't, I will find out for you. So if you've got any questions you want to ask, fire away. If you want to join two colours together like I have, go for it. And if you want to be very, very creative, what you could do is actually within this is use, like, say, one colour as a background and then another colour to create a picture. And if you can, it would take a bit of time. There we go. It's quite relaxing, this is, as well. I think during these troubling times that we're all experiencing, I think it's nice to do things that are creative, and you know, it's a bit of focus away from the what's going on in the world at the moment. And it's nice to create something and you're actually producing something as well. So it's a win-win. And even if you don't want to show anyone, you don't have to show anyone at all. Just keep it to yourself if you want to. There's no pressure. Let's go back to the red. I think we need some more red in there. I'm going to put a big piece just there. Let's see. As I say, you can put these pieces of paper wherever you want to. Here we go. Nice in the middle there. Doesn't matter if the edges are not completely stuck down. It's just. There we go. And I'll show you what to do when we've covered all this. There we go. You could use darker colours if you wanted to, and even the border, you could use that as a different colour. Like if you had a piece of white card and you're using darker colours inside, that would stand out. I think the colour to use on this particular border, it needs to stand out from the colours you're actually using inside. But if you wanted to blend it into one, you know, pretty much colour, then you can do that. It's not a problem. There we go. Choose some more yellow. The smaller pieces you use, obviously the longer it's going to take, but it depends, you know, if you're not in a rush, you can just take your time. Just take your time. As you can see, it's coming along quite nicely. think I have some. I think we need a bit of orange. I'm just covering everything we can. Purple. I think I'll put that down the side. Bit of blue. There we go. And if you're into sports, I suppose what you could do, you could actually use the colours of your football team, a rugby team, a netball team, a particular individual sports person. You could perhaps, whatever they identify with regards to colours of their team's colours, or uniform, or sporting equipment that they wear, or something like that, and you could you know, be as creative as you want, really. Or if it's music, as I say, the ideas are, you know, can be endless, really. It's how far you want to go, you know, with reference to how creative you want to be. I'll just put some. There we go. And you can make the shape bigger if you wanted to, so it's entirely up to you. And what shape you want to cut it, that's up to you as well. So there's no right and wrong. It's what you want to do. So it's all about, you know, your choices of color, choices of patterns, choices of designs. So it's all about your choices. Put some there. If there's any little gaps that you can see, stick there. Maybe a bit fiddly. There we go. If you wanted to keep all the edges of the paper symmetrical and nice and neat, you can cut them. It's entirely up to you. So I think it's more fun personally. I like to just tear the paper. Cut the colours there. So we're getting there. As I say, it's a random collage of colours. I think we've just got one more. What colour should we use? We'll use a bit of yellow, I think. Right, okay. So we put the paper to one side. Okay. Unfortunately, with most craft activities, there's always some clearing up to do, so don't just get up and leave it, because somebody would have to clear it up and you might not be popular. Right, what do we do now? Okay, what we do now is we pull that away slightly, so we've got nice edge to that. Let's see if we can do that a bit more. Okay, so, and then we've got the other piece that I've cut out, and we're going to have to seal it. So this can be a bit fiddly. What I've done is just drop that, unfortunately, butterfingers, is that I have peeled one edge. It's this one, because it can be a bit fiddly, as you can see there. So what I would suggest you do is one edge nice and neatly. Just seal it down the edge because we don't want any air bubbles. And we're going to do this nice and gradually. Just bear with me one moment. I think we've got a bit of a technical issue. I'm not sure. I think it may be working. Not quite sure. The screen is frozen. Not quite sure. Okay, I do apologise for that. We had a bit of a technical hitch. It's been resolved. So what we were doing, we'd finished the tissue paper inside the border that we'd stuck onto the adhesive sheet. And then what we do is, obviously, that's back in as sealed, and we get another sheet, carefully take off one edge, and as you can see, it's a case of just sticking it down there and then just doing it nice and gently so we're not getting any creases or air bubbles. So there we go. If you're good at covering your books, you'll be doing this no problem. Absolutely. So just push that over. There we go. As you say, that's push that down. So seal it around the edges. What we do is we take it off the table. Take that off. And what we're going to do is get our scissors. Can be a bit tricky to cut. Okay, put that over there. And we've got this sheet. See, it does stick, stuck to the paper. And what we're going to do, we're going to cut around the border. I'm just going to come inside the border. Like so, probably cut half the border. As I say, it's not a case of measuring, it's a case of using your judgment and your own personal style. There we go. We'll just follow the shape, the outline, coming round. Just follow it like so. Very careful when you're using scissors. Most people have used scissors, whether it's at school or at home, but you still need to be careful. Just watch your fingers. Follow the outline round. We'll cut that round, we'll put that over to one side, and what we've ended up with is a nice shape, okay, with those lovely colours, those vibrant colours. And what we do with the hole puncher is be very careful. That's haven't quite got this. That's better. Unfortunately, I've spoilt it a little bit with the edge, but put it in there. And I've chosen some pink wool, and it's whatever length you want. So then we've put the pink wool through and just tie a knot at the end so it doesn't pull through, like so. And that, you can have a look, will be hanging, can hang from you know, in your bedroom, from your cupboard, wardrobe. If you're going to start sticking pins and things in, always check at home whether that's acceptable. Even blue tack, you don't want to put that on the wall or anything and it pulls the paint off or something. So there we go. There's another one here that I made slightly earlier. This is very sticky. I'll put that to one side so it doesn't stick to my hands. But that's another one, obviously slightly, it's quite similar but different colours I've used. So if you look at the contrast of colours that were used, it's entirely up to you. As I say, if you have any questions, please send them in. If you do make any, I hope you do, can you please take photographs, send them in, and we'd really love to see them. Okay, thank you very much indeed.